All right, we're live.
What is it? 31.
Yeah. I don't know why it shows 7:18. Hopefully people are here.
7:18.
Yeah, I don't know why. 7:18.
I thought I had the sound.
Hopefully. Okay, we do have people here. Hi guys, if you can hear us, let us know. That would be great. Always good to check the audio system first.
Yeah.
Apologize first that it has the wrong date showing on the title. I don't know what happened. Okay, let's give a couple minutes while people jump in. Good. Okay, yeah. I think people know the drill. Good afternoon. If you have questions, just put on there. So we're going to go through the questions shortly. We don't have anything specifically scheduled today. No specific topic, but we want to be here and we want to continue the Q&A sessions with you guys. Hey, Jay. Hey, Leon. Hey, Hollywood. What is that?
Fault.
Okay, Ryan's looking at the phone, so he's already working on the questions. Well, while people are jumping in, and just want to say hi, and while you guys warm up, I wanted to, sorry, got a phone call. I wanted to tell you guys that we have updated our website yesterday, so I'm gonna get that put up real quick. See if I could. No, that's not it. How did share screen. So I'm gonna share my entire screen here. Okay, just want to let you guys know. Yeah, we made this change on our website. Basically, what happens is we connect all our different businesses together on a one page under Fox Truck and Tractor. Even though we're each one operated as individual businesses, but it's all. I think it makes sense for all of those businesses connected under one website instead of confusing people go to different website for different things. So under this website, you'll see our repair business. That's it, and also DPF emission stuff. It's also under the same website, and also we added the electric APU. So if you guys are interested, feel free to go to our website, foxtruckandtractor.com, and you'll find our electric APU stuff. It has all the benefits, the individual items that included in the package, the standard package we offer, and also there's a few upgrades. Of course, the exciting thing is we do offer financing through different banks, a couple of different banks. One is Synchrony. That's basically like a credit card.
Yeah, which they do a lot of the store credit cards and stuff.
Yeah, so. They basically that credit card you can use for pretty much everything, either truck repair or trailer repair. There's two different products under them, and there's also another company called New Lane Finance, and they are specifically designed for the APU market.
Yeah,
right now I don't have a link yet, and feel free to give me a call so we can help you to walk through the way to apply. And basically I think both of them are excellent options for you guys, with minimal monthly payment, very lower than your fuel cost to idle your truck to keep you cool in the summertime. I think those are really good options. Payback is very excellent payback.
And with the APUs, we did just get a under the bunk unit. The outside unit is essentially, I believe it's essentially the same.
Yeah.
But we do have an under the bunk option, which is a little bit more expensive. But if you're wanting to replace something that's like under the bunk now, we will. Once we got 3 of those on a skid here that we just got in, so we need to get those unpacked, and probably be more to follow in a video on those hopefully here soon. So
yeah, one other exciting thing is that we're getting ready to load some of the product we carry here. Those are in stock right now. We have those AC units, different configurations, as Ryan mentioned, on for sale.
And these are available to where you can purchase one, we'll ship it to you, and they're pretty well. Other than so, if you have an existing system, and you already have a battery system in place, it's pretty easy swap to put in one of our units.
Yeah.
Basically yourself, they're already pre-charged. I'm a little the hoses. I wouldn't have a conversation. I think we've talked a little bit with the manufacturer about those. I'd like to have more of a custom length than a standard length where you got to wrap hose up. But I guess if you don't have the tools, I guess that's an option where you don't have to worry about it.
A lot of companies, there's quite a few big electric APU companies, they wrap around, even though look ugly, but it's Ryan he's really picky on how it looks and how it functions, and he pursue the perfection. So that's so those are available. Actually, we have them in stock here.
Yeah, we have 2 of the over the bunk option. We have 2 of those in stock, and we have 3 of the under the bunk. So
yeah.
If it's something, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, we can get the batteries and the battery boxes as well. So
we have all of those available down the road right now. Just slowly list out the product. We have filter Donalds and filters here. We will have
obviously our red line emissions.
Yeah, red line emissions, and also exciting news. We're also gonna offer the software. If you guys have a shop, and we're offering gel test software as well.
Kajali gel test.
Yes. All right. So those are things, kind of exciting things we're working through in the past week. And if you guys have any questions, always reach out to us. All right. I'll stop sharing.
I can't believe it's already Friday.
Yeah.
Again. Okay. So
let's talk about a few issues you guys have. See how Ryan can help you.
Okay. So first question. An SPN 4374 and a Cascadia. There's usually an FMI associated with that as well, but typically that is going to be like a depth pressure issue or pump speed. So probably the first thing would probably be checking the depth doser or metering unit. That seems like that's probably most likely what it is. Could be a pump as well. So I'd probably want to do a volume test on that metering unit. And then also kind of look at the tip of it and make sure it's not distorted or any other issues on that. So, but without an FMI associated with that SPN, it's a little bit harder to. The FMIs are kind of what narrow the fault down. So.
Okay, let's see.
That one.
Which one? This one. I'm gonna go one by one. So it's the questions on the screen. If you guys are wondering what it is.
Okay, so is it expensive to have U-joints replaced on a drive shaft and balanced? If it's just U-joints, it's not terribly expensive to have it done. What gets kind of pricey is when they're dynoed and if the slip joint is bad, because those have to be cut off and the new slip joint and yoke and everything have to be welded on, by machine, because it's got to be perfect, and then rebalanced. So typically, like with U-joints, depending on how, usually they have three U-joints. So with 3, if you're doing the inner axle shaft as well, I guess you'd have 5 U-joints. So it just depends on how much you want to do and how bad it is. But with this U-joints on your main shaft, they usually come in like $500 to $700 roughly if that's only a slip joint. I think our highest that we've had was like $1,200 on the main shaft. So as far as the service of getting it dynoed, U-joint replaced, and I think that one had a slip joint as well.
I'm gonna step out real quick.
Yeah, sorry, we have a customer dropping off a truck for the weekend here for weekend service. So she's got to help them. So, let's see here. So next question. That works on a 2016 International Lone Star. If you're referring to the, I'm assuming you're referring to the APU unit we were talking about a little bit earlier here. And pretty much any truck we can make it work. Even if you don't have a battery set yet, we can put together a box. And how many ever we're offering now a 4 battery unit and also the standard unit, and also a 6 battery unit as well. So yeah, I mean, we just have to kind of take a look at the truck and how to lay everything out. But pretty much any truck, if like I said, if that's what you're referring to, is a possibility. Question. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna this is kind of a related question. Sorry, it took me there, just kind of reading through everything here. So gentlemen, I guess just got back from a trip, terrible shape coming from the area. The drives at 65 and over. I think it's joints or drive shaft issues. So we actually just had a customer here. He was having kind of the same issue on a Columbia day cab. So we went ahead. It did have a couple bad U joints. We redid the shaft. I don't think it didn't need. We didn't do a slip. It didn't the slip yoke and everything. It was so basically just U joints and a balance on the shaft on both the main shaft and the inner axle shaft. And it did improve. So, but it was still doing it like at 58 mile an hour. So it was a weird speed. But it was, or it wasn't really in it. It seemed like it was doing it when he was only like when he's empty, it was fine. So come to find out, he brought the truck back for some other issues, brakes and stuff like that. And when we pulled the brakes off, we had to do some wheel seals. And actually, one of the drive hubs, like it was like the bearings were shot. I mean, I could move the hub up and down like 1/8 of an inch, so you can move it in and you can move it up and down. So I think that's probably hopefully we went ahead and just put a new for what we can get the whole hub assemblies for. The time we press races out, press new races in with the labor, a lot of times for like a standard type Comet hub, it's a lot cheaper just to throw the new hub on. The time we buy bearings and seals, and a couple, at least an hour probably to press races out. Then you take the chance of one of them rolling in the aluminum hub and damaging it. So I find it a little bit more cost effective and get a whole new hub for basically what it would cost me to rebuild an old one. So.
Oh, Jack. Hey, Jack has a question. Hold on, let me go back where we're here. That's U joints, right? National loans. What is this one? What's that?
I already went through this.
Okay, those are all went through.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Did you went through Jack's?
No, I'm right down here right now.
What about Jackson's?
I haven't looked at that yet.
Okay, you want to look at this? Or just put on the screen.
Trend shifting, great. I'm getting the codes. Looks like Frank. This is
Jack. Yeah, we.
That was the action. Thanks for the feedback on that. I was actually going to talk to Sophia and ask to reach out to you and see if that solved the issue. So kind of nice. We didn't have to pull the transmission and put a clutch in. It's good to try the simplest solution first. So
you wanted to go through the more background for people.
Yes, this was I believe an Eaton automated 10-speed. So in a behind a Packer MX-13 and a Peterbilt 579, if I recall. So he was getting a bunch of fault codes for slippage, clutch slippage, and then clutch brake, the speed, because it has to slow down. The clutch brake has to slow the input shaft down so much in a second or 2 3. There's a measurement how much it has to slow down. So it will throw a fault for that. Then the transmission, he was having issues where he'd be like at a loading dock for 45 minutes and the truck wouldn't go into gear. So initially we was kind of thinking, it's probably the clutch or the clutch brake, which they have a little bit different clutch brake assembly than what a regular manual does. But after doing a little bit of research, looking at my Eaton manual, I was like, let's just put an actuator in it first and see what happens. So we went ahead and did that versus pulling a tranny, and the clutches for those are a lot more expensive, about 3 times as much as what a regular manual transmission is. So I'm glad to hear that feedback that solved the problem and we didn't have to pull transmissions.
Yep, Jack is our great customer. All right, so that one went through. This one, how come you didn't see the green?
No, that's Matt. What bought the Kenworth?
Yeah.
It's out. I think it's out in the shop somewhere. So yeah, we will have to get that up next to my KWS sign sometimes.
Yeah. Went through a lot. See. Great. See you too. Yeah, me too. So we went through pretty much all the questions, right? Did we?
Mhm.
What about this one? You too. I'm just gonna put the. Did you go through this one?
I'm off the top, depending on what differential it is. Off the top of my head, I know they're pretty high. I mean, I usually use like a 1-inch impact to run them down. So if you've got a lot of up and down movement, it's quite possibly the bearing on that. So, but off the top of, I mean, I don't know if you have any what model it is, if it's a Rockwell, Spicer, or what type of axle it is. But if you got that information, I'd be happy to try to look that up. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, on those hubs, I would if you can jack it up, from the center of the axle and even with the wheels on it, see if you got any, release the brakes, obviously chalk it, release the brakes, and then because you don't want to have pressure on the brake drum, because if your brakes aren't released, the brakes are going to expand, and you're not going to be able to see the movement. So make sure, if you jack it up, release the brakes, and then see if you may even take a pry bar or something and stick it in one of the rim spokes and see if you can move the hub assembly. So, and see if it's one of the drives. So yeah, I was pretty surprised. This is once we got into that brake job, that it was that you could move it that much. And I'm like, yeah, and he was complaining that it was on back in that area of the truck. So I think that probably solved it. So.
All right. Vibration. Put on the screen. Look at the screen.
Loaded in and empty. I would probably lean towards the drive line on that if you're kind of feeling it through the whole truck. It's usually like when we take a drive line, if we take it out, it's not a whole lot to at least get it checked out. It's just when, like I said, slip yokes are what I don't like to see come back, because then that's what gets really expensive. So, but a lot of times, about 50-50, that's what we see is a bad slip yoke. So.
What's the waiting list on the APU? Waiting list? What does that mean?
To get in, I guess.
Oh, okay. Like lead time, right? So right now it's about a week. So the thing with us is like we don't have Ryan 100% just do one project at one time. So I'm trying to schedule him for the days that we don't have any other people scheduled. So that way he can focus on that one project, get it done. I think if he has the time to focus on that, probably a day or so, a little bit over.
Yeah, I mean, I like to say 2 days just in case. You never know. Every truck. We haven't put a whole lot of these in yet. So, until you kind of get through every model, like a T680, a 579, we obviously just did a Cascadia.
Mm-hmm.
But until we kind of get experience with every model, it's going to be kind of an experiment, I guess. It's kind of see how everything lays out. So
yeah. So right now we're about a week. So since we were on vacation for a couple of weeks, just returned.
We pretty well got everything cleared out of here for the most part. In the past we've been 2 or 3 weeks as far as scheduling.
Yeah.
But since we kind of scaled things back, I do still have this bus project going on out here that has turned into a disaster.
We're gonna talk about it one time, right? Yeah. It'll be fun to talk about. Yeah. So if you guys have any interest, we already have the AC here. Battery is gonna be a couple of days. We don't want to stock a lot of batteries, so the batteries will be roughly 2 to 3 days to get here. And then the other thing would be just battery box. We're still trying to, figure out our own battery box instead of rely on supplier. So those are only things that to keep in mind. Roughly give us about a week if you decide to, have a few days available for us. Just give us a week lead time. Then that's when we can put you on the schedule. Mm-hmm. Okay. I have a few questions. You want to do? Let's go. Do you want to go one by one?
No.
This one, okay.
Yeah.
I put on the screen.
So yeah, we were just kind of talking about that a minute ago. As far as it's basically me. I have a family member here, one of my uncles that works with me here now. So he does all of our. He's a professional welder, pipe fitter. So he does all of our welding and stuff on DPFs, welders, and all that good stuff. And kind of got him trained up on taking one boxes and DPFs and putting them back together. So. But pretty much I kind of evaluate everything myself when it comes in, and then then we kind of tag team stuff. But yeah, just right now there's just the two of us. We have plenty enough work to find. We've been thinking about posting an ad to try to get a little bit more help. So.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my problem is it's hard for me. That's why I'm kind of pushing away doing any in-frame overhauls or anything like that, or any major projects, because it just takes so much of my time to where I have to jump around so much that it makes it like I can never get the stuff done. So, and I don't have anybody else that I can put on more complicated projects. So that's kind of the hence why some of the projects where they may seem like they take a little bit longer than normal, because we still have a lot of different jobs coming in, and when you have to jump around instead of staying dedicated on one, it kind of elongates things.
Yeah. Can you answer this question? Okay.
Go for that.
Okay. Victor asked a question.
Low coolant system, low coolant level. Yeah, this I know on the Kenworths, it's a very, very annoying problem. I've seen it on both the T660s and the T680s, where they have the little plastic temp sensor that kind of pops in the bottom of the reservoir. I don't know if it's the sensors. I mean, I've even had to replace the reservoirs. I don't know if that plastic gets sorted in there, what the deal is, but I don't really. It's a very frustrating problem. I've found that sometimes overfilling the reservoirs a little bit sometimes alleviates it if you fill it almost to the top. So, I mean, obviously it will, if it's not going to hurt it to overfill it a little bit, because it's just going to blow it out the overflow. But I've found that does. I know on when I had my T660, it did that a lot, and I found that if I filled it up to the bottom of the hole, it would sometimes stop that stupid dinging noise going down the road. So,
tip of the day. Can you go back to answer that question? Normal. I'm gonna just put on the screen, and you answer what's on the screen.
Depending, I want to say around 180, 190 would be, depending on the year and all that, would be normal. So I mean, obviously anything below 180 or 190, it just depends on how you're working and all that. But I want to say around 180, just 180 to 190. So. Where are you at here?
This one. I'll show. I put on the screen so you see highlighted.
That's kind of tricky. I don't know if you've tried releasing the brakes, because then that brings that plate towards the hole. I've found that a lot. If you're trying to stick it in when the brakes are not released, where that plate's all the way down in the chamber, sometimes they can be difficult. And I typically, when I usually cage brakes, if the truck's running and I have air pressure, I always release the brakes so it brings that plate back, and then I can stick the caging bolt in and tighten it, so I don't have to sit there with a ratchet or the big deep well socket and trying to pull that spring pressure back, let the air pressure do the work. But I found sometimes in that case, it does align that a little bit better if you bring it all the way back. I don't like sticking pry bars or anything in those, because there's that diaphragm that you can damage that inside there. So and especially if you've got an air pressure to it, I wouldn't want to stick anything in there either. So unfortunately, I don't really have a better answer than that. So
all right.
I don't like messing around with the brake chambers too much. If there's an issue with one, I just replace it. So because there are a lot of high pressure spring in there, so a lot of air pressure.
Yeah. All right. So before I put the next question up, just want to remind you guys, on the top of the screen, you'll see a red logo. It says subscribe now. So remind you guys, if not subscribed, make sure to subscribe to our channel. That's your way of supporting us. It is free. And Ryan can't help. Yeah, he has to answer next question. All right.
Okay, and we are a little. I got a couple more projects to finish up here at the shop the day before we leave and go pick up the kids and all that. So we are a little bit short for time today as well. So, all right. So how often should a DPF be cleaned? Mileage based or time based? Well, the first thing is with the new truck. So I just had a customer here over the last couple of days, day or two. Cascadia one box had almost, I believe, almost 600,000 on the truck. I bought the truck new, and had never done anything with the DPFs in the one box. So he came in with the fault. I can't remember the SPN and FMI, but it is for DPF efficiency. And usually, most of the time, I see a DPF efficiency fault. It is typically a cracked or damaged filter, unfortunately. So what happens if you run a truck that long without ever servicing it? Your ash flow content on that filter, it just fills it up. And then once it gets so full, you start building up pressure to where it'll crack or blow the end of the trap off of the filter and ruin it. So luckily for this gentleman, I did have his were cracked as suspected. As soon as I seen that fault, I was like they're most likely cracked. So we took them out. They were cracked, and the restriction was like double baseline almost. So they were pretty bad. So my recommendation to kind of prevent that, if you just keep building up that ash load in those filters, it gets to the point where you're going to damage them, or you're just not. Even if you clean them, you're not going to get it all out. So your cleaning interval is going to be a lot less. So we recommend. I mean, here what I recommend personally is the first time cleaning on a brand new filter, I would clean them at 250. Then depending on whether you idle or not, if you idle a lot, I would probably, if you do idle a lot, I'd probably clean about 100,000 miles. If you don't idle a lot or have an APU, probably 150,000 after that first initial cleaning. And the other thing I see a lot, this last thing I'm put out here, is especially with Detroit, they I've had customers come in like, oh, they put brand new DPFs in, and I pull it apart, and they're Detroit remans. So a reman DPF is just basically a cleaned filter, so it's not a new filter. So they're basically doing the same process that we do here, and just slap a little metal plate that says Detroit reman and weld it on the side of it. So you're not gonna with a new filter and a remand or a clean filter, you're not gonna get as much, because you're never gonna get all that ash completely out. So after the first cleaning of a new filter, your interval is gonna drop. So, but I hope that answers your question. And like I said, that's our recommendations here. So, and cleaning those more often, it just prevents more downstream or long-term problems or more damage to your SCR and stuff like that. So
I think we have another question from last session. I wanted to remember to answer while you go through that. I can't find it.
Yeah, it's okay. Sorry, I'm just going down some of these to try to grab one more quick one because we're at 5 right now. Okay, I'm gonna go hit this one real quick. So, I don't recommend like switching like then conventional, then synthetic, then like going back and forth, because that as those oils mix, and I've seen it in especially gas engines that I've taken apart, it creates like a paraffin or like a wax all over inside of the engine. So when you kind of mix those back and forth, it's just the way that the composition of the different oils, it can leave like a nasty film inside the engine. I've never been a huge. I think the synthetics is too much. And with what I recommend to our customers is that I would rather use a cheaper oil and change my oil more often. With EGR, you get a lot more soot. The engines are clean outside, but they're dirty inside. So I would I like to change like a 15,000 and use just a conventional like a Shell Rotella T4 or a Mobil Delvac Super 1300 is what we usually typically use. We do have a Chevron Ursa here that we carry as like our cheaper oil. But that's my best recommendation. I mean, I just don't think I don't want to run oil 50,000 miles. Me personally, I'd rather just change it more often and get that nasty stuff out of the engine and keep it clean, and it kind of works out with the cost at the end. So.
Yeah. All right. So apologize. There are a couple questions we didn't get into today, as we're getting to 5 o'clock. So we want to keep this open. So if we didn't get into your question this week, please get to our next session. So those are the times that we're gonna, talk about everything you want to know. Hopefully, we'll try to help you guys. Yeah, it's always good to see you guys.
There was just a comment there that is cut out in the corner of my about to get in contact with us. Check out our website. I believe Sophia on the YouTube channel. She has.
Yeah, we have. Just go to the description, and we have our company information, website, phone number. Again, those are our business phone number. That's not for YouTube. Yeah, that's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the Q&A sessions. We're gonna keep on going every Friday. Hopefully it's helpful. And if it is for you personally, please spread the words to more people so we can see more people here and be benefited from this kind of Q&A sessions. Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Next Friday. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more organized topics. So it's been kind of a busy week here, kind of getting back into the swing of things. So.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next Friday.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah.